Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Sports Buzz presented by Sam Swope, Louisville's original live TV sports talk show. We want to hear from you. Give us a call on the Goomer & Company Buzz line, 964-2121. It's Sweet 16 time, and we have my bracket that I filled out at the beginning of the tournament, and it's not even worth the paper it's written on right now. We'll talk about the bracket in general a little bit later in the show. But we want to start off, I'm Greg Braun, by the way, with Nick Coffey from the CardinalConnect.com, who also hosts Cardinal Connection on 1450 WQKC 2 nights a week on our station. And Nick, let's start off with Louisville and Kentucky. Louisville, the monkeys off the back with a visit to the Sweet 16. They survived a 15-point lead, survived a comeback by New Mexico, cut it to 2. Russ Smith, my guy, 17 points. And first of all, getting to the Sweet 16, how did you think Louisville played the first 2 games? Even getting to the Sweet 16, would you give their performance, were they playing their best, or was it just good enough to win?
You know, when it's tournament, it's survive and advance. But I don't think they haven't played as well as they did towards the end of the Big East tournament. I don't think they've played bad, but they can play better. But that gives you a little bit of hope to know they're only 2 games away from making the Final Four, and to know they've made it this far without playing their best performances. And I think the Davidson game wasn't really as close as the score indicated. They had a late run at the end. Last night they should have won by more. I mean, they didn't play a good game, and arguably they should have won that by double digits. But I think they can play a lot better. They seem really dialed in. They seem like they're executing, which is good to see in March, and Rick Pitino has had a lot of success in the Sweet 16. So I think they can play better, but at this point, you know, it's hard to be disappointed with the results.
I tell you what, they got great chemistry right now. I think they believe. I think they've won these 2 games by playing maybe B basketball, if I was going to grade it. I think they have more in them. I think they can play better, and they're going to need to in the next rounds, but it gives me hope as a Cardinal fan that this team could actually maybe, and there is a chance, could make that run to the Final Four, crack through into that level that Cardinal fans want to live in, Final Four. Russ Smith, to me, and I've been championing his cause all year, to me, Russ is better when other people aren't playing good, it seems. He had 17 points. When everybody else seems to be standing around, Russ will take over. Now, if everybody else is in the flow, you know, Russ kind of fades in the background a little bit, and maybe that's better for the overall functioning of the team. But talk about Russ, talk about Bohannon showing a force inside with 10 points. Zhang, 10 rebounds in the game as well. Talk about how some of the individuals play.
With Russ Smith, he's a guy that everybody you need to have. Whenever they get stagnant offensively, he's a playmaker. He makes things happen defensively and offensively, which is rare. It's something you don't see. And then, like they're showing the last night's his action, that's just so Russ Smith. He's the team comedian. Everybody loves him. He's probably the most popular guy on the team. But Shane Bohannon and Gorky Zhang, for Gorky to be, he wasn't in foul trouble a lot last night, but they basically played at what seemed like 75-80% of the first game against Davidson without Gorky, and to be able to do that and get the win is good. He's got to start learning to adjust how the game's going to be called. He seems to always make the silly fouls, and sometimes you could maybe question that, you know, was that really a foul? Could have been a no call, but he's got to learn how they're going to be calling the game and learn to adjust, because he's got to be on the floor, especially when you get further along. But Shane Bohannon, the one thing that I really like about him is you have freshmen that's come along in the last few years, that not just Louisville but other programs that have good games. But Shane's become really consistent, especially on the rebounding. 2 games into the tournament in his career at Louisville, he's played pretty well, and that's good to see. He's a guy that I think has to be on the floor a lot. He's going to have his work cut out for him though this coming up week on Thursday with Draymond Green. He gives a lot of teams a lot of matchup problems, so I think it's going to get a lot tougher for Shane, but I'm confident he can do it.
And yeah, and you know that dunk by Zhang at the end of the game, I think that's the signature play so far for the Cards, and maybe this entire season, definitely in their NCAA tournament run. That dunk kind of put it away at the end, a really exciting play. You mentioned rematch with Michigan State, and I consider that Michigan State loss in 2009 the tipping point, really, for the program. A lot of things were about ready to come out in the public eye as far as Rick's personal situation, and that was the kind of where the decline started. Isn't it kind of ironic that a possible upset on Thursday of Michigan State could be the rebirth? It really could signify that. What do the Cards need to do to win? I think it's close to a 50-50 game. I mean, I'd say at the most 60-40 if they played 10 times. Michigan State wins 6, Louisville wins 4. But think you're getting to where Louisville's going to be right in this game till the very end.
I think it's matchup-wise, it doesn't really scare me. Michigan State's a good team. They're very well coached. I wouldn't call them a great team. They've got a great player. They've got a great coach, but I don't think they have any. Their personnel doesn't cause a whole lot of matchup problems. What I'm hoping is that Louisville's 2-3 defense will kind of keep Draymond Green from getting in a rhythm offensively. He's going to get offensive rebounds. He's going to get putbacks. He's just that kind of player. But if he can, I think if you can contain him,
team defense in that zone,
yes, exactly,
one-on-one defense against Draymond. We don't have a matchup one-on-one.
Exactly. I don't think Shane Mahaney can stay with him. But the 2-3 defense, and I think Russ Smith and Peyton Stevens' defense could really expose their guards. Michigan State, they don't have any. I don't think any of their guards are real veteran. I think they're sophomores and freshmen. Not bad players, but Russ Smith and Peyton Stevens have shown what they can do defensively.
All right, before we talk about Kentucky and their victories this weekend, is this season a success already for Louisville?
Man, with the ups and downs with injury, I've been asking myself that same question for a while, because 2 weeks ago we didn't know if they were going to win any game in the Big East tournament or the NCAA tournament. Now they're in the Sweet 16. Still, we've seen they can play better after what we saw in Madison Square Garden last week. I think success right now, it would be good. I mean, going out to Michigan State is nothing to hang your hat on, but I think success right now to get that first round monkey off your back with the team that's you're going to bring a lot of guys back. You lose 2 starters in Chris Smith and Kyle Kirk, but overall, it's good these guys have gotten the experience. It's just, if they come out and lose by 30 and totally lay an egg, it would be different. But overall, I think if they can compete in the Sweet 16, anything can happen. I would consider it a success.
Yeah, I think they've crossed the threshold of success. Just crossed the threshold by winning the Big East tournament title. I think it has a lot to do with that. Getting to the Sweet 16, getting the first round monkey off your back. I think you have a shot, though. I think they have a shot to make a run now at that Final Four. Let's turn to Kentucky, the favorite. I think, hands down, the favorite now. Kendall Marshall has a broken wrist in UNC. I mean, he may still play later on, but he's going to be limited, I think, with that broken wrist. Kentucky's been dominant. 55% they shot in that game. 10 of 20 on threes. Teague's even scoring now. 24 points. I mean, they've got 5 threes from Lamb. What's it going to take to, I mean, how does Kentucky lose?
That's a good question. I think Kentucky on their best day will beat anybody. But there's things you can do. Something I talked about a little bit last week is the loss the loss in the championship game against Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament. It probably lit a fire under that team, but it also showed you that they can be beaten. And I think a lot of teams from now are going to look at that game tape and see what Kevin Stallings did to beat Kentucky, because 2-3 weeks ago, I don't think anybody thought it was possible, and now they've shown they can be beaten. But if they play like they did last night in the second half, especially, I don't see Indiana having a great chance.
I was going to say, Indiana beat them once already. Does that give you more confidence, or does it just motivate Kentucky in the rematch?
I think Kentucky's got a lot of motivation, obviously, because of what happened. But Indiana now, I think they've got a chance to really prove themselves, because they're hearing from everybody that it was a fluke and it took a last-second shot and Anthony Davis to be in foul trouble. So I think that'll be one of the better Sweet 16 games we're going to see.
All right, we want to hear from you. Is this season a success already for the Cards? And another question. Who's got more to prove the rest of this NCAA tournament, Rick or Cal? More to prove, Rick or Cal? 964-2121. The Goomer Company Buzz On. We'll be back in a moment. The Sunday Sports Buzz presented by Sam Swope.
Goomer & Company Jewelry is proud to celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Hello, I'm Bruce Goomer, founder and owner of Goomer & Company. This is a family business, and we'd like to thank you for choosing Goomer & Company. My family and I look forward to being your jewelry store for years to come.
For over 40 years, we've been the largest gold, silver, and diamond dealer in the area.
Come see us on Hurstburn Parkway or visit goomerjewelry.com and experience the Goomer difference.
Hi, I'm Kevin Renfro, the attorney in charge of the Becker Law Office. When I was a kid, my dad lost a finger in an industrial accident. Couldn't work for a long time. It was tough on my family, and it taught me that the world can be cruel for those who are injured and have no one to stand up for them. If you've been injured, please call the Becker Law Office. We want to help you get the money you and your family deserve.
Serious, experienced, results. Call the Becker Law Office for a free evaluation. Just dial 3s.
You're going to love Louisville Athletic Club's solution to your fitness resolution.
For a limited time, join the area's premier fitness club for as low as $9.99 per month or no enrollment fee.
That's right. Join now for as low as $9.99 per month or no enrollment fee.
Call now and start your fitness resolution.
The landscape of sports talk radio in Kentuckiana has changed in a big way. 1450 The Sports Buzz has the perfect blend of local shows and Patrick in the Mornings, and Yahoo Sports Radio, The Freak Show with John Renshaw, has made its triumphant return from 3 to 5 p.m. The afternoon Sports Buzz makes that drive home easier from 5 until 6 with Greg Brom, Rob Jones, Trevor Kelsey, and a slew of others. 1450 The Sports Buzz also has you covered with the biggest high school, college, and pro games every week. Sick of the same old watered-down sports talk? Look no further than 1450 The Sports Buzz.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
Welcome back to Sunday Sports Buzz presented by Sam Swope, Greg Brom, along with Nick Coffey from the CardinalConnect.com. Kansas has beaten Purdue in a great struggle tonight by 3, so my bracket's not totally busted yet. I have them in my Final Four. Florida State leads Cincinnati as well. Another one of my Final Four teams, Florida State, 26-25, even though I kind of like Cincinnati to win. Nick, we asked a question before the break. More to prove the rest of the tournament, Rick or Cal?
I think Pitino, at this point, I don't know how much he has left to prove. I think right now, any continued success for Louisville would just kind of, I don't know if it would prove anything, but it would kind of let people know that he can still coach. But I don't think there's a lot of pressure on him to do that. I think making it this far, considering where they were a month ago, he's probably proven a little bit that he could still rally his troops, because mentally they were pretty much done, it seemed like. But Coach Cal, I've not seen a team look as a clear favorite, especially with the injury to North Carolina with Marshall, Duke going down early, Missouri, a team I had in the national championship game, they're out of it now. So if he doesn't win a national championship this year, if I'm a Kentucky fan, I'm going to start wondering when is it going to happen, because the talent they have, I think even if they go to the national championship game and lose to somebody, I still just think it would be. It was hard to call that a disappointment when you look at how things are set up for them. I don't see it being anything you're too proud about.
Well, I tell you what, going to the Sweet 16, I think a lot of pressure was lifted off Rick's shoulders.
I agree.
Kind of this is all bonus gravy right now.
Absolutely.
If he can continue to win, and Cal's got to win the championship. I mean, with the situation they're in, it's win it all or anything less than that is not a successful year for Kentucky fans. And with the position their team is and how dominant they've been, they probably should win the championship. Handsome, good to hear from you, buddy. Great show last week, by the way.
How you doing, Quest? Hey, Greg and Nick. I mean, we got 2 more, man. Hey, we got to get them. I think last night, Cal Kirk, we got to get more out of Cal Kirk rebounding, and he's got to get some assists. He's got to hit the boards, and I don't know if he don't. I don't know why he didn't play Wayne a little bit more. I mean, Cal got 10, but I don't know why he didn't play Wayne. Wayne Blackshear, like he's gonna have a big night if he was in there playing real hard, and can't wait till next year, because and next year with Luke and then a healthy Blackshear. We are the favorites going to win the title. We are, but this year ain't no with you. I really think we get these 2 in the Final Four. Hey, I love because Michigan State's going to play us man to man. I love that, because I don't think them 2 guards, like you said, Nick, can guard Peyton or Russ. Or I think we're so much quicker than they are. But Cal got to win a championship. I think for success. Coach Pitino, hey, Final Four. I really believe it, Greg and Nick. What do y'all think, buddy?
Something I was just telling Greg before we went on here is you look at Louisville, the Sweet 16, we're kind of just, we're happy. It's been a long time since we've been in this situation. 2 years in a row where they went out in the first round, but they're two games away now from making the Final Four, and you look at who's left. There's a very realistic possibility that it could happen. And I think, back to Jimmy's point, they do have to rebound. When you look at, I think, the strength of Michigan State's team, it's in the post with Payne, I can't think of his first name, Payne, and then obviously Draymond Green, we've talked about him, and they do have to rebound. I wanted to see Wayne Blackshear play a lot more in those first 2 games of the tournament. The fact that we didn't see him a whole lot, he didn't get a whole lot going, that doesn't lead me to believe we're going to see it as he keeps going.
Don't you think it'd be tough to put him in now?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Not playing him a lot all throughout the year.
What I'd hope for is that they have a nice cushion in these first 2 games. New Mexico, I thought it would be more tough, but Davidson, if they were able to get a big lead, get him in there, have him knock down some shots, get his confidence going, then you can take that rotation from 7 to 8, and he's a guy that I've said it over and over. I'm a huge fan of Wayne Blackshear. I think he's going to be really good next year once he gets more integrated with the offense. But he's just the little things you can see in him let you know he's a good player. It's just maybe I'm nitpicking on him, but I think I agree with Jimmy. I'd like to see him get more time.
Playing those guys in blowouts was something we were saying back in December.
Exactly.
But it wasn't happening then. I don't think it's definitely not going to happen now. And Michigan State, I think Jing's going to be so important. He cannot get in foul trouble, but he can't not get in foul trouble by just standing there. I mean, he's got to play the tough defense and just not foul. It's going to be physical both ways. Maybe the refs will let him play a little bit, which would be good for Jing. But, I mean, a lot is riding on his performance and behind and underneath against this Michigan State physicality.
Yeah, it might have something to do with the fact he hasn't played basketball that long. But when he gets in foul trouble and he knows he's in foul trouble, you can't play him not only because you're afraid he's going to pick up more fouls, but also he becomes just a liability defensively because he sometimes just gets out of the way and he doesn't know how to play when he's in foul trouble. It's almost like
sometimes Siva doesn't either.
Very true, very true.
But do you remember that Michigan State game?
Unfortunately, I do.
The center that just killed Louisville, that hadn't done anything.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Gortat or something like that.
They
he was hitting threes.
That's the formula they'll use in the game on Thursday night.
They're just going to try to be really physical, and that's what you've heard it for the last 10 years. Izzo prepares his teams physically like it's football. They play that real aggressive, and I think looking back, I thought the 2019 Louisville had. I didn't think that would be something that they would shy away from. This year, I don't think so either. I think Siva and Russ aren't very big guys. Chris Smith seems like a tough kid. Shane Behanna is not going to be pushed around. Gorky is a big question though, so I think you're definitely onto something there. But they're going to come out. They're going to try to not necessarily punch him in the mouth, but just be the aggressor, and hopefully Louisville doesn't take that and kind of flounder.
All right, Adam, you're up on the Goomer & Company buzz line.
Hey, you know what? I just really don't understand. You know what? I love college basketball. I really do. And we have the greatest area in the country now. We've taken a backseat to North Carolina and Duke for the longest time, and now we're back with Kentucky, Louisville, and Indiana. And I don't understand the predisposition that one team's got to do so much better than the other. This is the greatest time to be from Louisville, Kentucky. It really is.
It's called rivalry, Adam, to be honest with you. That's what it's called. And I've always contended that Louisville is better in a world where both teams go to the Final Four, more so than Kentucky fans are. I think they want to go there, but they want you not to go there.
I
a little bit more, but hey, that's rivalry. I'm okay with it. I hope that's part of it. I mean,
that's just how it works.
Duke and North Carolina are too nice to each other.
I agree. And my thing is, a lot of people, when they talk about the rivalry with Louisville and Kentucky, it's always talked to North Carolina and Duke is a bigger rivalry because of the tradition, and maybe that's true, but my biggest thing is I don't think there's two fan bases from a basketball standpoint that dislike each other as much. I mean, New York and Boston in baseball is different, is on a different level, but I think in college basketball, there's no two fan bases that genuinely dislike each other as much as Louisville and Kentucky
do. All right,
do.
let me ask you, before we go to our next break, how many teams you got left in your bracket?
Gosh.
We're going to go over the brackets and redo our Final Fours if necessary, but I've got 8 left of the 16. I'm waiting on the Florida State outcome. I've only got 8. So, half, that's probably about right. I did pick North Carolina State, though, in my Sweet 16.
If Cincinnati can get past Florida State, I'll be sitting with probably, I think it's half of my Sweet 16 teams left, which isn't terrible. I mean, a lot of people have done worse, but as it gets further, I had Missouri. Actually, I had Missouri going to the championship game, and one of my brackets I had UNLV making the championship game too. So then they went out in the first round, so that was totally
real quick. We're going to break here in about 30 seconds. Real quick, if you had to grade the tourney on excitement so far, throw Louisville and Kentucky out of it. What would you grade it?
I would say an A. I think there's been some great games, especially the second day of the second round.
Which I think was the best day. Friday was the best day so far of the tournament.
And yesterday's games weren't all that exciting, but I mean, it's just competitive.
Overall, though, I don't know. The buzzer beaters haven't quite been there as much. I'm giving it a C+. I'm going to C+.
We're off there.
You know what? I love the tournament, but just on overall, if Louisville and Kentucky throw my heartstrings
I'm just happy because Louisville's still in it.
Absolutely. It's an A+ for that reason.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. Come back with more. 964-2121. Give us a call. The Sunday Sports Buzz presented by Sam Swope.
Hi, Joe here for Joe's OK Bayou. A lot has changed since we opened the doors here 15 years ago.
Gas was around $1 per gallon. Toy Story was a craze.
Long hair was in, and I was single. But one thing that hasn't changed here at Joe's is the exceptional value and great service you get each and every day. Stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch special, nightly $3 off dinner specials, a great happy hour, even $1.99 kids meals every Sunday. There's a reason why we've had the best Cajun in town for the past 15 years.
Who says change is good?
Joe's OK by you. It's OK by me.
Pimp out your ride at Smart Shoppers, 4200 Produce Road. That's Smart Shoppers, 4200 Produce Road to pimp out your ride. They are open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. They are the largest car audio dealer in the city of Louisville. No better place for paint or body work in the city than Smart Shoppers. You need rims, stereos, amps, paint, anything you need. Call 964-6652 or go to smartshoppers.com. That's Smart Shoppers, 964-6652.
Hi, this is Roz from 1-800-ASK-GARY. I'm here to tell you about a new law in Kentucky. It is now against the law for a stranger to call or come to your home after a car accident to solicit you for medical or legal services. Report this illegal act to your insurance company. You may be entitled for a full refund of fees paid for services already received. Don't risk damaging your case or your health. We'll always do what's right for you. 1-800-ASK-GARY.
Dish Network introduces the Blockbuster Movie Pass.
Dish Network with Blockbuster is incredible. I get way more movies than I ever got with DirecTV.
With Dish, you'll get hundreds of channels and now over 100,000 movies, TV shows, and video games with the Blockbuster Movie Pass.
The movies by mail is cool, but thousands of streaming movies is definitely where it's at.
Only Dish Network can bring you unlimited movies by mail, in-store, and streaming to your PC or TV with the Blockbuster Movie Pass, now included when you get Dish. Promotional prices start at just $19.99 a month.
Call 964-DISH today, 964-DISH. Looking to save money on things you shop for daily? Look no further. VPass is here. Members save up to 50% on thousands of area businesses. Buy one, get one free at your favorite area restaurants. Golfers get free green fees at top area courses. Save on things for your auto, home, kids, and pets. Members save on prescription medication and vision care at thousands of providers nationwide. Go to myvpass.com. That's my V as in value, passes and passport.com for a free 30-day trial.
Tournament time here at the Sunday Sports Buzz presented by Sam Swope. Make sure you listen to the afternoon Sports Buzz, 5 to 6, Mondays through Friday. I'm going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You got Trevor, Rob, John Lewis, handsome cast of characters on the afternoon Sports Buzz. And then Nick Coffey will follow us from 6 to 7 on Tuesdays and Thursdays with the Cardinal Connection. Nick, hey, before we get to Benny on the line, I think the best thing that the NCAA has done and CBS has done with the tournament the last couple of years is televise every game on a channel that you can get. So you can flip and watch every game. True TV, TNT, TBS, absolutely fantastic you can do that. The worst thing they've done, which I think is really, they need to change this, is every court is the same blue design. I'm watching the game. It looks like it's a laboratory now. It's antiseptic. It's kind of bland. Every court, I think I just noticed it this year because of the Yum Center. Maybe they've been doing it a couple years. I don't know. But I think that you lose the flavor of the tournament by not seeing the home courts that the teams are on. And I don't know what game I'm watching. I got to look at the bottom to see who's playing this one because every court looks the same. Can you imagine Jim Valvano running around looking for someone to hug?
And
it's not the pit?
Yeah. I agree. I think I didn't notice it as I don't know how long they've been doing it because I looked at the Yum Center and I saw it was gutted of anything Louisville related at all besides that little cardinal bird on the side. And then I saw every other location on TV. They look exactly the same. You don't know which game you're watching. I'm finding myself trying to look behind each goal to see if I can see where it says where they're at. So it's it does make it a little bland. But to get back to the TV coverage, it is unreal. I never thought I would ever be watching NCAA tournament games on TBS and True TV, which I don't think I've ever watched anything on that channel at all. But
I had to look it up on the guide. I
yeah,
didn't know where it was.
It's not a real popular channel, but I think they've done a really good job at that. But TBS, it's not sure. It's the B team broadcast crew I think that you're getting here, and the big ESPN covered the Big East tournament. I thought they did a really good job. But for Peyton Stevens Sr. to only be shown on TV like for 15 seconds total in those first two games, that's unacceptable. We got to tell TBS.
Can't they recognize a star?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that guy is a star, absolutely.
He's the face.
The face of the NCAA tournament.
Exactly.
Mr. Siva. All right, let's go to Benny.
Yeah, Greg, I've got a question. Since Trinity has won a state championship in basketball now, do you think we'll go to 6 classes in that sport?
I'll tell you what, I sure hope not, because I think there's a certain magic about the basketball tournament. Congratulations to Trinity, by the way. Went out there to 2 of the games. That's a big deal. Trinity winning the basketball championship. I know they won a ton of state football titles. I think this is going to have a special significance at Trinity, being that it's basketball, and that is the holy grail of athletics in this state. And I went out there, it's a funny thing, on Saturday morning, there was a Trevor Kelsey lookalike playing for Pulaski Southwestern. This guy was he overcame that. Overcame that obstacle. He was unstoppable underneath. He was mowing people over. He hit a 3. He was unbelievable.
The state tournament, I had not realized it, because I think when I was in high school is when Trinity got to be a pretty good program in both sports. I mean, their basketball has had success here and there, but they've been really good in the last 5-6 years. Not only do they have, they're not a team that has just a couple of good players here and there. They've got depth. They've got 7 guys that are going to be playing Division I. It's unreal. I talked about him on Friday. I can never say his name. Nathan
Dudney.
Dudney. I don't know if he's going to win Mr. Basketball, but he looks like the best player in the state to me. I mean that the way he's played in the 7th region tournament and the state tournament, he's really good. You got Charles Foster, you got Daryl Hicks. I mean, the list goes on. They've got a lot of talent over there.
And Mike Zabel's done a fantastic job
Very good
as the basketball coach at Trinity. And let's throw some of the brackets. The new Sweet 16. If we can throw maybe the South region up there, look at Kentucky's path to the Final Four and try to get through these. So Kentucky and Indiana will have Baylor and Xavier, who Xavier gets through after he recovers from the fight. If you had to redo your bracket, you doing anything differently? Who you got in the Elite 8 and Final Four?
I had in one of my brackets. See, I've got 2. I've got one I did with my Louisville hat on, and then I've got one I did with I just kind of tried to crunch numbers. I had Kentucky and Baylor playing, so I'm good from that end, but I did not have them playing Indiana. I did not have Baylor playing Xavier.
Yeah, me neither. But I think Kentucky and Baylor, and Kentucky moving on to the Final Four. All right, let's try to get the West up there. Louisville's bracket. Louisville facing Michigan State on Thursday in Phoenix. I think it's an advantage. Louisville gets to stay out on the West Coast. A little bit of an advantage. Michigan State's been playing in Columbus, has to travel tomorrow
They're gonna have to adjust.
to Phoenix, and Louisville's been out there with the time change the entire time. Louisville, Michigan State, Marquette, and Florida. Who are you picking here, Nick Coffey?
I'm going Louisville. Louisville coming out the top of the bracket there, and then I got Marquette, a rematch of this will be the 3rd time these 2 teams have played. But that's exactly how I had it drawn up. I'm doing pretty well in the West region. The upset, I guess with Norfolk State was one, but in my Louisville pro bracket, I had Missouri falling out a little bit early to Marquette, so I'm good from that standpoint.
Hey, I'm going Louisville and Florida. Donovan versus Patino. Louisville's going to the Final Four. Let's try to get another one up there if we can get the East. Okay, we got the middle. There's the East coming up. Syracuse, Wisconsin, Ohio State will play this. The winner of Florida State, Cincinnati. Give me real quick your Elite 8 and Final Four.
I'm going Syracuse and Ohio State.
Okay, Syracuse, Ohio State. I'll go Wisconsin, Florida State.
Ooh, wow.
Florida State's going to the Final Four. All right, now we'll go down to the Midwest, or this, I think it's Midwest. Yeah, UNC, Ohio's the sneaky one in there. I picked NC State, and then Kansas wins, so they're on to the Sweet 16. Who do you got Elite 8 and Final Four?
Kansas and North Carolina. Ohio could give him some trouble, especially if Marshall doesn't play.
All right, thanks, Nick Coffey, for joining us. We'll see you next week. We'll be talking about the Final Four, the Sunday Sports Buzz presented by Sam Swope.